The Pokemon Company has officially announced that Charizard set number 69, the Princess Infinite Money, is coming to Pokemon TCG Live on November 13th. Focused on Fire and Dark types, Phantasmal Flames will include 6 new Mega Evolution Pokemon EX, which are Charizard X, Sharpedo, Gengar, Diancie, Lopunny, and Heracross, as well as 4 regular Pokemon EX. Yes, after disappearing from Mega Evolution base set, regular EXs are returning. So far, we only know about Oricorio. Speaking of Mega Evolution base set, remember how I said it's the smallest main set in 7 years? Well, Phantasmal Flames is absolutely going to blow it out of the water and have just 94 cards before secret rares. That's because it's only made up of Japan's Inferno X set plus the Gengar and Diancie decks. There will be 10 trainers in the set, and once you factor in ultra rares, Phantasmal Flames will have over 120 total cards. The reason they can get away with this is that Charizard is on the pack art, meaning it will be scalped like crazy no matter how many cards are actually competitive. If you missed my previous video, the standalone Gengar and Diancie decks were released a couple weeks ahead of Phantasmal Flames, but the cards inside will also be included in the set. It's the same thing they did earlier this year with the Marnie and Steven decks. One seemingly unfortunate thing is that the new Sneasel and Weavile cards, who I'll talk about later, appear to be cut from the set. Instead, you'll have to get them through blister promos for Phantasmal Flames, similar to what you have to do for Psyduck and Golduck in Mega Evolution. Oh, and a promo of the optimal Charcadet will be included in the ETB. While it may not be able to one-shot Badoo, it can grab a Fire and a Fighting, setting you up for a Lunatone discard the following turn. Getting to the cards themselves, of course we'll start with Mega Charizard X EX. Before I talk about how many toes this card's worth, let's take a moment to remember that Mega Charizard X evolves from Charmeleon, just like the Charizard EX that accelerates energy upon evolution. And also, I guess, the 151 Charizard, but who cares about that guy? For Mega Charizard, it has 360 hit points and an attack for 2 fire energy that does 90 damage times the amount of fire energy discarded from your Pokemon. If that sounds familiar, it's because Raging Bolt's attack is pretty much the same, except it does 70 times. At least right now, I'm low-ish on Mega Charizard. Yeah, Raging Bolt does less, but it's a basic that only gives up 2 prizes with access to Sawdust Vitality and Ogerpon. That being said, Sada rotates in March, meaning Mega Charizard should become our new heavy hitter, especially considering that Golden Go is also rotating. In order to do a deep dive on Mega Charizard, I have to introduce you to another new card, Oricorio EX. Going together like peanut butter and toast, Oricorio allows you to accelerate as many fire energy from hand to your bench fire Pokemon however you want, so long as you have a fire Mega Evolution in play. All of that is a long-winded way of saying that they don't want you using Oricorio with anybody else besides Charizard. So the strategy is to get Mega Charizard in play, then use Oricorio to flood the field with energy like a reverse Excalibur deck where the basic does the accelerating and the stage 2 attacks. Once you've done that, Inferno X only needs a discard of 4 energy to KO most Mega Pokemon. But that wasn't enough for the greedy Pokemon Company. They wanted to make sure you spend all of your hard-earned dollary dues on Mega Charizard, so there's even more fire support coming. Heat Burner's nothing exciting, but it will probably be a one of in most fire decks, allowing you to discard any tool, special energy, or stadium your opponent has in play by discarding a basic fire energy. Essentially, Heat Burner is what you'd get if you use Polymerization on Field Blower and Enhanced Hammer. Elsewhere, there's Fire Breather. With both Earthen Vessel and Letter of Encouragement rotating in March, you need a way to find energy. So how about a supporter that fetches freaking 7 of them? Lady on steroids, Fire Breather simply grabs up to 7 basic fire energy from deck, and that's absurd. Like, who cares what it gets? Fire Breather is a targeted grab 7 of a card. Fire Breather's usefulness extends far beyond Charizard. In fact, it probably does more to help Golden Go, making it even stronger in its final months ahead of rotation. Fire Breather also ensures Ceruledge survives rotation. And if we ever get into a world where Emboar is a thing, you'll be playing it there too. For those wondering, Ethan's Ho-Oh EX is a potential alternate partner for Mega Charizard. With 2 in play, you can potentially attack turn 1 for 160 damage. Ho-Oh also gives you a way to heal off some damage throughout the game, though you do have to run Energy Switch to get Mega Charizard powered up. Or if you really want to cook, just chuck a single copy of Mega Zard into a regular Dark-type Zard deck and surprise them with a big damage attack. At the moment, I'm giving Mega Charizard X EX 3.5 toes out of 5. But when rotation takes Golden Go and nerfs Raging Bolt, there's a chance it's worth 4 or 4.5, it has that much potential. As you'd expect, with a new Charizard comes a new Charmander and Charmeleon. Free Retreat's cool, but not being POF and searchable probably prevents the Charmander from being used. As for Charmeleon, the new one has 110 hit points and a 1 energy attack that does 40 damage. Except we still live in a Dragapult EX world, so I think the Flarevel one is still going to see the most play. As previously mentioned, Fire gets a lot of support in Phantasmal Flames, and so does Dark. You'd think the headliner for Dark types will be Mega Sharpedo EX, but the card's as bad as Sharknado 5 Global Swarming. Okay, nothing's that bad. I just don't want you getting your hopes up. A 330 hit point stage 1 with 3 retreat, Sharpedo does 70 damage for 1 darkness energy, drawing 2 cards in the process. I mean, cool, that's knocking out things like Charmander and Dreepy, I guess. The main attack is Hungry Jaw, which does 120 base damage for 2 darkness. Obviously, that's horrible. But if Sharpedo's damaged in any way, be it physically or emotionally, then that jumps to 270. There's a couple of ways to activate the effect, including by putting a Carvanha down with Risky Ruins in play. My issue with Sharpedo is that it just seems like a much worse Mega Manectric. Yeah, the energy costs are 1 less, but I'd rather do 120 and protect against basic attacks than draw 2 cards and do 70. And 270 isn't a great number in a world where most Megas have at least 330 hit points. Manectric can hit that 330 number with Riot Blaster, and even extend its reach to the Pokemon above with Defiance Band and Gravity Mountain. So at least in this comparison, I can only give Sharpedo 2 toes out of 5. But don't worry, there's a much better Dark-type card coming in the form of everyone's favorite Darkness-type Pokemon, Toxricity. Putting Dark Patch to shame, Toxricity's ability allows you to search your deck for a basic Darkness energy and attach it to one of your bench Darkness Pokemon. I'm not in the business of rating non-Megas right now, but I'd shove my whole foot in this thing's mouth. It's kind of like an evil Electric putting 2 damage counters on the Pokemon you accelerate to, except it has 140 hit points and a decent attack. And the Toxel underneath is awesome, featuring a Call for Family attack, albeit only getting 2 basics, not 3. And if you're worried about damaging your own Pokemon, don't forget that this makes Munkidori better. While you can't Toxtricity to Munkidori, you can, manually attach to the monkey while accelerating elsewhere with multiple Toxtricity. Because, oh yeah, you can do it up to 4 times if you have 4 Toxtricity in play. A few of the Dark types that come to mind first are Roaring Moon EX, Mega Absol EX, and Mega Gengar EX, which will be out first in October. Put an Ancient Booster on Roaring Moon to give it 290 hit points, then one-shot 3 prizers all day without worrying about the repercussions. While I still don't think it's good, Mega Absol does deal 200 damage and force them to discard a card from hand, which can be devastating in the right list. Mega Gengar, meanwhile, doesn't necessarily need Toxtricity because Janine exists, but if you can find the space for it, Toxtricity makes every Dark deck better. Now, before I talk about the next card, I need to temper your expectations. Upon first read, Grimsley's move seems stronger than the move I use on women at the bar where I tell them I'm a pilot. But I'm hesitant when it comes to Grimsley's move. Similar, yet completely different to some much older cards, Grimsley lets you look at the top 7 cards of your deck, then place any one Dark-type Pokemon you find there on your bench, be it a basic Stage 1 or Stage 2. Unfortunately, just like Forest of Vitality, you can't use Grimsley on your first turn. So there's no Arbok evolution locking or Tyranitar item locking turn 1 going second to really screw them over. Thankfully, the potential inconsistency isn't too much of a worry. Academy at Night or Gumshoes can take a Dark type from your hand and put it on top of your deck. And Deduction Kit can give you a peek at your top 3 cards. Looking at the other options for Grimsley, obviously Toxtricity is a good one, but I think you'll mostly want to evolve through Toxel. Instead, you want to focus more on Stage 2s, of which there's a few. The Gengars, for example, can control their energy while also reducing the prize cards they take. That's great! You can also get a turn 2 Hydreigon EX, slap a Neo Upper on it, and use Crashing Headbutt. Or if you don't mind waiting that extra turn, Tyranitar is an item locker and TJ Miller, while Crocodile is all about hand discard. My main issue with Grimsley is that it's your supporter for turn. So you have to rely on Squawkabilly to have a good turn 1, Pheasantipity for card draw later on, and Totsadiri or Pokegear to actually find Grimsley when you need him. Then you add in the fact that either Academy at Night or Gumshoes are almost mandatory, and you end up with a super bloated deck. Don't get me wrong, Grimsley's move is powerful. It's just that unlike Forest of Vitality, which doesn't require too much upkeep, Grimsley needs like 5 things to go right for it to work properly. To quickly cover a few other cards coming in Phantasmal Flames, we have Whimsicott and Moltres. Whimsicott is like Liepard, except it sucks, only healing and not moving the damage counters. Moltres, meanwhile, could be useful in fire decks, dealing 110 damage to EXs for 1 energy. Plus, it has the added benefit of one-shotting Badoo. It's just that 110 seems a little too low in a format where we're trying to deal 350 damage every single turn. Then we have the aforementioned Sneasel and Weavile. This could be a road deck, I'm just worried about Weavile's low HP. That's because if Weavile has 50 hit points or less remaining, Retaliatory Claw does 190 damage. Use Risky Ruins and Toxtricity, you're good to go. You could even chuck a Mega Gengar in there so Weavile gives up 0 prizes against the X's. But if Dragapult continues to be strong come November, then Weavile might be a little too weak to survive. Finally, Zacian. The Pokemon Company must have been playing Final Fantasy VII when making this because the attack is called Limit Break. Except unlike a Cross Slash that makes me shoot a Blade Beam, this attack's disappointing. For a Psychic and a Colorless, Limit Break does just 50 damage. But if they have 3 or fewer prizes remaining, it does just 140 damage. Even if it was a constant 140, I don't think this sees much play in Standard. Though in a pre-release where everyone starts with 4 prizes, this dod's goated. So when pre-releases start on November 1st for Phantasmal Flames, this is something you'll want to see in your packs. As for Mega Dragonite EX, it's a little weird. The Pokemon Company said it'd be out in 2026, but it carries the I blocked legality marker. Unless I'm hallucinating after being hit by Mega Vitribell's acid, this essentially confirms we'll be getting a special set in early 2026, before moving to the J block starting in late March or early April. And the fact that Phantasmal Flames has less than 100 cards adds even more evidence to a January or February special set. No matter how we get it, the card has potential. 370 hit points on a stage 2 with no weakness unless they run Lily's Clefairy is nutso. That puts it just behind Mega Venusaur in terms of highest HP cards in the game. The ability is also not horrible, giving you a free Switch. The card, not the console. In fact, the price of the original Switch just went up, because we live in a world where an 8-year-old system gets a price increase instead of a price drop. Then for a Water and 2 Lightning, Dragonite does 330 damage. The combo here is more plain than a white mana. You launch Ryuno Glide, discarding 2 Lightning energy in the process. Next turn, you either retreat with an Air Balloon or use Dragonite's ability to put it on the bench, re-accelerating those energy with an Electric or 2 and maybe a manual attachment. Then Dragonite goes back in the active with a retreat or its ability and hits for 330 again. Overall, pretty good. So why aren't I gushing over this card like it's a chewy fruit candy? Well, probably because Mega Manectric is the same thing but better. Where Dragonite is a stage 2, Manectric is a stage 1. And Manectric has a first attack that protects against basics. And the second attack gives you the option to deal 200 without discarding or 330 with a discard. And Dragonite basically has to be played with Electric, where Manectric can choose the Eel or Magneton. And Manectric can be paired with other lightning types more easily, where Dragonite needs rare candy and stuff. I guess what I'm trying to say is that Dragonite's good, but Manectric's better. That being said, if Dragonite's going to be in its own set, there's a chance it's focused on dragons, giving us access to type-specific cards that help it out. Though if we're getting a dragon-specific card, that means it will probably also help Dragapult, and nobody wants that. To quickly summate this video, I'm super duper ultra instinct excited for Toxricity. Mega Charizard should be great next year, and Sharpedo and Dragonite both appear to be outclassed by Manectric. I'll have more Phantasmal Flames previews as the month rolls on, so make sure you smash that subscribe button with the balls of your feet.